Australia has long stood as the global icon of modern sheep farming. Across its endless landscapes, millions of sheep graze freely, shaping not only the country's agriculture but also its culture and national identity. Beyond food, sheep are a symbol of resilience, innovation, and tradition. Worldwide, there are an estimated 1.2 billion sheep spread across continents. China holds the largest share with more than 170 million head, but Australia, with about 70 million sheep, has carved out a reputation as the world's leading source of premium lamb and ultra-fine wool. What sets Australia apart is not only the scale, but also the science and care invested in every stage of raising these animals. Sheep production in Australia is carried out on nearly 20,000 farms, ranging from small family properties to vast stations that stretch as far as the horizon. For farmers, raising sheep is more than an economic activity. It's a story of generational knowledge, innovation, and national pride. And like every story, it begins with the ewe, the mother sheep. The story of every flock begins in the spring or early autumn, when farmers carefully manage the breeding cycle. Timing is critical. Ewes are bred so that lambs will be born during the greenest seasons, when the pastures are full and natural food is most abundant. A EWE's gestation lasts about 5 months. During this period, farmers monitor the health of each animal with great care. Modern systems use electronic identification tags and digital tracking, allowing farmers to record reproductive status, weight, and overall condition every single day. Alongside this, the ewes receive carefully balanced diets rich in protein, minerals, and vitamins to ensure both mother and lamb are strong and healthy. When lambing season arrives, the work of the farmer intensifies. Each ewe typically gives birth to 2 or 3 lambs, though larger litters are not uncommon. Newborns are fragile, but the first hours of life are critical. Farmers step in to provide immediate care, tagging each lamb for identification and applying food-safe paints to mark them by age or health group. This process, known as lamb marking, allows large flocks to be managed more efficiently while safeguarding individual animal welfare. From the very start, lambs are placed in warm pens with carefully controlled conditions around 18 to 22 degrees, 64 to 72 degrees. Floors are kept clean and dry, and the lambs are observed closely to prevent disease or injury. Vaccinations and deworming are scheduled early, ensuring survival rates above 90%. A remarkable contrast to the harsh realities of the wild, where only a fraction survive. But even in such controlled environments, dangers remain. One of the biggest challenges faced by Australian sheep farmers is fly strike, a parasitic disease that can devastate flocks. In 2022 alone, this single disease cost the industry over $170 million. Preventative measures such as tail docking, though controversial, remain widely practiced as they significantly reduce risk and protect the animals. For male lambs, castration is often performed with elastic bands. Another practice debated worldwide, but still common in Australia's commercial operations. The goal is to reduce aggression and injuries as the lambs mature. Despite these difficulties, the sight of lambs finding their feet on fresh green grass represents a moment of renewal each year. For farmers, it's a reward for months of careful preparation and vigilance. By the time lambs are 3 to 8 months old, they're ready to leave the safety of warm pens and join their mothers in the vast open pastures. This is where they learn to graze under the Australian sun, adapt to sudden rainstorms, and navigate the realities of life in the open. But releasing thousands of sheep across properties that can stretch over tens of thousands of hectares isn't a simple task. Farmers rely heavily on their four-legged partners, working dogs like border collies and kelpies. These dogs are legendary for their ability to move flocks with nothing more than sharp eyes, instinctive agility, and a few whistles from their handlers. Alongside dogs, ATVs and horses are used to cover long distances quickly, and in recent years, drones have become an indispensable tool. From the air, farmers can locate lost sheep, monitor water points, and even detect potential predator threats. Predators remain one of the constant challenges of sheep farming in Australia. Dingoes, wild dogs, and even eagles pose risks, especially to young lambs. To protect the flock, many farms use specialized fencing, sometimes spanning hundreds of kilometers, known as dingo fences, combined with watchful guardianship from both dogs and farmers. Health management also continues during this stage. Farmers regularly administer drenching treatments where an oral syringe delivers medicine to protect against internal parasites. These routine practices, while labor-intensive, ensure that lambs continue to grow strong and maintain high survival rates. As lambs graze on lush grasses, grains, and mineral supplements, they begin to thrive. Their coats thicken, their muscles strengthen, and slowly they transform from fragile newborns into sturdy young sheep, capable of enduring Australia's sometimes unforgiving climate. And yet, despite all the science and technology, farming remains a deeply human job. Every decision from when to move a flock to which supplements to add to feed requires the farmer's intuition, often passed down through generations of sheep breeding families. When lambs grow into sturdy young sheep, usually around 6 to 8 months old, they reach a milestone, their first shearing. This isn't just about harvesting wool. It's a rite of passage that marks their maturity and introduces them into one of Australia's most iconic industries. Shearing is both an art and a science. Skilled shearers use electric clippers to carefully remove the fleece in a continuous piece, starting from the belly, moving along the chest, then across the back and sides. Each movement is precise, designed to protect the sheep from cuts while keeping the fleece intact. Believe it or not, a professional shearer can finish the entire process in 2 to 3 minutes per sheep, and the very best can handle more than 250 animals in a single day. Once shorn, the sheep are quickly released back into the pasture, lighter and more comfortable for the months ahead. Meanwhile, the wool is sorted by quality right on site. The finest, cleanest fleeces are reserved for premium-grade textiles, the kind used in luxury fashion houses in Milan, Paris, and New York. Lower-grade wool with shorter fibers or impurities is diverted into industrial textiles and everyday products like carpets and insulation. From the shearing shed, the wool bales head to processing plants. Here they undergo scouring, essentially being washed in hot water to remove lanolin dirt and natural oils. After drying, pressing, and grading, the bales are packed to meet strict export standards. Australia produces about 300,000 plus tons of wool each year, and a significant portion comes from the country's famous merino sheep prized for their ultra-fine fibers. On the global stage, Australia is recognized as the largest supplier of wool-feeding industries from Europe to China. The U.S. is also a major importer while demand in emerging markets continues to grow. This trade generates billions in revenue annually and supports not only farmers but also communities built around shearing teams, transport, and processing facilities. But wool is not immune to global shifts. Prices rise and fall with fashion trends, supply chain disruptions, and weather conditions. For example, prolonged droughts can reduce fleece weight, while global recessions can slow demand for luxury garments. Still, the reputation of Australian wool remains unmatched, symbolizing both quality and sustainability. While wool remains the crown jewel of Australian sheep farming, the story doesn't end there. Sheep also play a critical role in the meat industry, supplying lamb and mutton to households and restaurants across the globe. From the pastures, when sheep reach a healthy weight, typically 45 to 60 kilograms for lambs, they're carefully gathered for processing. Farmers guide them into clean holding sheds where they rest for a night, reducing stress before transport. Trucks designed with ventilation systems and non-slip floors ensure a safe journey to modern abattoirs. Every step of this chain follows strict animal welfare regulations, reflecting both ethical responsibility and market expectations. Inside the facilities, sheep are gently stunned, often using electricity or CO2 to minimize suffering. Skilled workers then process the animals into well-known cuts: shoulder, leg, loin, and rack. Each cut is vacuum-sealed, bar-coded, and traced back to its farm of origin, offering consumers around the world full transparency about where their food comes from. On average, Australia processes 20 to 22 million sheep annually, yielding nearly 400,000 tons of export-ready meat. The largest buyers include the Middle East, the US, China, and the European Union. In many Middle Eastern nations, Australian lamb is considered a premium product for religious holidays and family feasts. Meanwhile, in Western markets, lamb racks and loin chops are served in upscale restaurants as symbols of fine dining. Beyond economics, sheep meat carries deep cultural significance. In rural Australia, lamb roasts are a centerpiece of weekend gatherings, symbolizing hospitality and tradition. Internationally, Australia's reputation for clean, green, and safe agriculture adds to the appeal, making lamb more than just a meal. It becomes an ambassador of national identity. Together, wool and meat create a dual value chain that sustains not only farmers, but also transporters, processors, exporters, and chefs worldwide. Every fleece, every cut, and every export crate reflects generations of resilience and innovation. And behind it all are the farmers, ordinary Australians who carry extraordinary responsibility, ensuring that their flocks thrive in some of the most challenging landscapes on Earth. Australia's sheep industry is more than an economic engine. It is a living story of heritage, adaptation, and perseverance. From the birth of a lamb on the open pastures to the shearing sheds, and finally onto the plates and wardrobes of the world, every step illustrates the country's bond with the land and its animals.